This is Racer, a really naughty Roo. Lately he's taken a liking to all my planter boxes. In order to cope with his bad behavior, I decided to make a delicious chicken stir-fried rice. For this Asian fusion dish, we're going to be needing black pepper, dried ginger, turmeric, and paprika. I mixed these spices in a little dish, and I'm splashing some soy sauce onto the chicken and following it with some lime juice. Then I'm going to add a heaping spoon of garlic to my chicken. In a perfect world, I'd love for this to marinate for at least 30 minutes to an hour prior to cooking it, but that doesn't always happen. For my aromatics, I'm adding anise, garlic, and red dried chili peppers in some hot oil, and then I'm going to put my chicken right in there after about 30 seconds of my aromatics cooking. As the chicken cooks, try not to stir it too frequently until it caramelizes a little bit, and you could choose to stir it by flipping the pan or just using a spatula. Either way works. In order to enhance caramelization and flavor, you may want to add a little bit of brown sugar to your chicken to advance this process. I've dumped my chicken out into a big dish, and I'm adding some more oil to the pan. And for the next ingredient, I will be adding some stem pieces of bokchoy. So these are just the hard pieces from the plant. I'm reserving the tender leaves for later in the cooking process. After I've added my vegetable to the pan, I'm going to add my 4-spice seasoning mix directly to the vegetables, and I'm going to let that cook a little bit longer before I add the soy sauce to the pan. I like cooking all my vegetables separately to achieve the desired tenderness that I'm looking for. For these bokchoy stems, they are more firm, so I'm going to naturally want to cook them a little longer than, say, something like a bell pepper. Again, according to personal preference, you may want to add some brown sugar to this dish. This will enhance caramelization and flavor. When these bokchoy stems are finally cooked, I'm going to add them to the same dish as the chicken, and I'm moving on to the next vegetable. And I'm not sure if you're seeing a pattern by this point, but yes, I am adding more oil to the pan. And for our next ingredient, I'll be adding these quartered Brussels sprouts, and I'm dumping them right on in there. And of course, you've guessed it, you will be adding the 4-spice seasoning mix to those as well. What I really like about this method of separating my spices from my sodium is the fact that I can make my vegetables as spicy as I want without having to add excess sodium to them. This allows me to control the amount of spice that I put on the vegetables and the amount of sodium separately. After these Brussels sprouts have cooked a little bit and have developed this beautiful color, you can add a little bit of soy sauce to those as well. And of course, you will dump it into the big pan with the chicken and the other vegetables. The wok will go back on the burner. You'll add some more oil to it. And our next ingredient is one that is traditionally used in Asian cooking. It is broccoli. The best way to cook this broccoli is to use a little bit more oil, add your seasoning mix to it, and then you're going to flip it as you go along. And once you see the bottom of the wok really drying out and possibly start to get a little more burnt and hot, you will want to add a little bit of water to the broccoli to make it just a little bit more soft. And you could splash in some lime juice as well as a little bit of soy sauce at the end of that. Once again, feel free to use brown sugar if that is on the menu for you. Our family's choosing to go a little lighter this time, so we're omitting the brown sugar and we're going heavier on the meat for this dish. The beauty of this dish is that it is entirely customizable, so if you'd like more chicken, add more chicken. You want more veggies? Pack those in. If you don't even want the rice, then you could even make this dish without rice. That is entirely up to you and your family's preference. After a good splash of oil to the wok, I'll be adding my red onions to the pan, and then I'm going to follow that with my seasoning mix, and if you choose to, a little sprinkle of brown sugar will go a long way as well. Once my onions are finished cooking, I'll then drizzle some soy sauce onto the onions, and then instead of adding them to the big chicken dish with the vegetables that are already cooked, I'm going to instead work the onions up the sides of the wok so they could continue cooking. And then I'll be adding my bell pepper into the center of the pan. Bell pepper will go in, the 4-spice seasoning mix will go on top, and I'll add a little drizzle of oil to the top as well, just for good measure. When I'm satisfied with the appearance and texture of the bell pepper, I'll toss the vegetables together, and once again, I'll add them to my chicken dish with the other cooked vegetables. Finally, I'll add the bokchoy leaves from my bokchoy stems, and I'll just kind of soak up all the flavor from the pan by moving them around and picking up the spices. It really doesn't take a lot to season these leaves, and once they're nice and cooked, I'm going to dump the rice straight into the bowl and mix that together with a little bit of oil. This is day-old white rice that I have cooked in my Instapot for 3 minutes on high, and then I did a quick release after that. I'm really not sure if I'll ever go back to making rice any other way than the Instapot. This is plain white rice, and as you stir it onto the pan, it's going to pick up a lot of that oil and flavor, and you will certainly want to add more 4-spice seasoning mix alongside some soy sauce in order to add some sodium to it. The key to cooking a really great refried rice is to cook it on high heat and move it around quickly. And here it's all set, so I'm just adding my vegetables and chicken back into the dish. One of the key ingredients in this dish were the Brussels sprouts. They add so much flavor and complexity, and I highly recommend you adding them to your next Asian refried rice. I'm choosing to serve this with a spritz of lime and a bit of Thai basil to the top. As always, please like, comment, subscribe to help my channel out, and I hope to see you here next time.